I wish that more people with normal jobs made career progression and salary transparency videos, so I'm gonna make one as somebody who has been a baker for about 10 years. Taking it all the way back to 2015 in Greenville, South Carolina, my first job was as a hostess at a local neighborhood Italian place, and I made $8.50 an hour. The next year, I left that job and I worked at a bread bakery where I convinced them to let me do prep shifts and kneading shifts as well as customer service, and I did that for $8 an hour. Then I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina for college, where I worked at a popsicle company and I sold popsicles on the street, and in the winter I put up people's Christmas trees, and I did that for $10 an hour. Then, as a part of my culinary degree, I moved to New York City and did an internship at a well-known chain of cafes. I made $15 as a production baker, and after 3 months, my internship was up and I became a regular full-time employee, and they gave me a raise to $17 an hour. And then 2 months after that, I was given another raise to $20 an hour, and I became the head of catering, and I co-ran the kitchen alongside another girl under the executive pastry chef. And I did get stuck at that $20 an hour for about 2 more years before I went and worked at a much smaller bakery just as a morning baker and production baker. I made $19 an hour, and when I accepted that, I asked for more than that, and they said in 3 months we can give you a raise to $20 an hour. So I accepted the job, and then after 3 months they gave me a raise to $21 an hour. And then I left New York and I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, where I had a string of awful jobs. The first job, I was a production baker at a boutique hotel and I made $20 an hour. And the second one, I was a production baker at a chocolate shop and I made $15 an hour. Both of those I was only at for 1 month. And then I landed my first salaried position. I was the kitchen manager and head baker of a newly opened bagel shop, and I was paid $50,000 an hour, or $24 an hour. But then I left that job too, and I went to a bakery in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, where I made $20 an hour as a production baker. I was at that job until I took a seasonal position in Denmark, Maine, running the kitchen and doing all of the baking at an all-girls summer camp. This was a contracted position, so hourly it came out to about $37.50 an hour. However, that does not account for any overtime, and I was working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. But the money was really great.